3 facts that prove you are a genius. Have you ever had a moment where you thought, I see the world a little differently than everyone else? Maybe it was a conversation where you made a connection no one else noticed, or a time you solved a problem that left people saying, how did you think of that? Most people brush these moments off as luck or coincidence. But what if I told you there is real science showing that these small moments might actually be proof that you are a genius? No, I am not talking about some internet IQ quiz or a dusty old test you take in school. I'm talking about the way your brain naturally works, the habits, instincts, and thought patterns that separate average minds from extraordinary ones. Today, we are breaking down 3 facts backed by psychology and neuroscience that can prove you are operating at a genius level, even if no one's ever told you, and I promise by the end of this video, you might start seeing yourself in an entirely new way. So let's start with the first sign. And trust me, if you have this, it's not just interesting, it's life-changing. Fact number 1, you ask more questions than you give answers in school. We're trained to believe that being smart means having all the answers. But in the real world, geniuses don't just answer questions, they create better ones. Let's look at history. Einstein's theory of relativity, didn't he start with a solution? It started with a question. What would it be like to ride alongside a beam of light? That question led to one of the most groundbreaking scientific revolutions in human history. Here's the truth. If you find yourself constantly asking why, how, or what if, your brain is wired like some of the greatest minds in history. You're not just absorbing the world, you're challenging it. Psychologists have studied this. A Harvard experiment showed that curiosity actually changes your brain chemistry. When you're curious, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that fuels motivation, and it opens neural pathways, making you learn faster and remember longer. This is why geniuses seem to pick things up so quickly. They're not learning because they have to, they're learning because they want to. If you've ever been told you overthink, ask too many questions, or can't just let something go, don't take it as criticism. That's the first clear sign that your mind works differently, and it's not a weakness. It's a superpower. Fact number 2, you're uncomfortable with being comfortable. Here's a story. 2 people graduate from college, both get good jobs, steady paychecks, and a decent apartment. The first person thinks, I made it, time to relax. The second person feels a strange itch, a voice in their head saying, this is fine. But what's next? That second person, more often than not, they're the genius. See, high intelligence is tied to what psychologists call optimal anxiety, the sweet spot just outside your comfort zone, where growth happens. Most people avoid this zone because it's uncomfortable. But if you're the kind of person who seeks it out, who gets bored when life is too easy, you're wired for higher achievement. Think about Steve Jobs walking away from a stable career to start Apple in his garage, or Marie Curie pushing herself into completely untested areas of science, even when it was dangerous. These weren't just ambitious people, they had that genius-level discomfort with staying the same. And here's the hidden benefit. This trait makes you resilient. When you're used to stepping into the unknown, change doesn't scare you, it excites you. By the way, if these signs are resonating with you and you're starting to realize you might be operating on a higher level than you thought, you'll want to stick around on this channel, 5-Minute Genius. We dig deep into the science of thinking, decision-making, and personal growth, the kind of knowledge that sharpens your mind every single day. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications because your smartest days are ahead. Fact number 3, you see connections others don't. Now we get to the real magic of genius. Plenty of people can memorize facts, but genius minds see relationships between ideas that seem completely unrelated, and they use those connections to create breakthroughs. Leonardo da Vinci didn't just paint, he studied anatomy, engineering, geology, music, and mathematics, and it was the combination of those disciplines that made his art revolutionary. In psychology, this is called divergent thinking, the ability to take ideas from different areas and merge them into something original. You might notice this in yourself if you get shower thoughts that feel like they appear out of nowhere. You explain complex problems with simple, surprising metaphors you naturally spot. Patterns others miss. This kind of thinking is why geniuses often appear creative even when they are working in logic-heavy fields like science or engineering. It is not just creativity, it is the ability to connect dots no one else sees. And here's something fascinating: your brain physically reflects this. MRI scans of high creativity thinkers show stronger neural connections between different regions of the brain. In other words, you're literally wired to think differently. Well, we hope you enjoyed these 3 facts. Hers is the bringing you it all together as recap. 1. You ask more questions than you give answers. Your curiosity is a sign of higher intelligence. 2. You're uncomfortable with being comfortable. You crave growth even when it's risky. 3. You see connections others don't. Your mind blends ideas into something new. And if you have the bonus trait self-awareness, you're not just smart, you're equipped to turn that intelligence into real-world impact. Here is the part I want you to remember. Genius isn't about a score on a test. It's not about how well you did in school. It's about how you think. And if you saw yourself in these signs, then you have a choice to make. And if you want to sharpen that genius every single week, subscribe to 5-Minute Genius right now. We're building a community of thinkers, dreamers, and doers. People who aren't afraid to use their minds to change their lives. You might be a genius. Now it's time to start acting like one.